It plays like a scene out of a blockbuster prison break movie. Instead, it's a real-life scene from Ricky Sinclair's life.
They ended up chasing me for 56 days in the woods with bloodhounds, eating raw armadillo and frogs and turtles and blackberries and thistles and anything else I could find.
Running from police was a far cry from Ricky's near storybook childhood. He grew up in Wayfield, Louisiana, with wealthy, loving parents who gave him anything he wanted.
Raised on Wayfield Plantation, 1,900 acres of land, 600 head of cows, so I'm a country boy.
But Ricky's life was far from perfect.
My mom and dad were both alcoholics, and I watched them drink a fifth of alcohol every day of my life. And even though we came from a good family, yet because of alcohol in their lives, I took on that lifestyle.
Alcohol wasn't the only addiction Ricky inherited. His father had always told him to stay away from drugs. Then his father contracted cancer, and when the radiation treatments made him nauseous, he ignored his own warnings.
One day I caught him smoking marijuana, and that was the very thing he told me not to do, and devastated me. And then he smoked marijuana with me, and then I lost respect for him. And so as a result of disrespecting my dad, I took on the same lifestyle of drugs and partying, and I took it to the extreme. I went crazy. Started dealing drugs at school, smoking marijuana, dealing drugs in high school.
Meanwhile, Ricky married Jeannie, a 17-year-old girl from a single-parent home. She was desperately searching for stability in her life.
Ricky was a source of security to me. He was everything that I wish that I had. I mean, he came from a household that he pretty much was raised in the same place all of his life. He had the same set of parents that birthed him into this world. I thought that was pretty cool.
But marriage, even the arrival of a baby, didn't settle Ricky down. He did whatever he could get away with, until his luck ran out.
Ended up getting busted, 1982, distribution of cocaine, marijuana, and diazepam, 17 years old, busted in school. Ultimately did go to jail, 8.5 months in jail. During that time, my dad ended up dying, which put me in another tailspin going downward.
Neither Ricky's first jail sentence nor his father's death made him change the way he was living.
They let me out of jail, went right back into the drugs because I had acquired that kind of lifestyle, and that's all I knew. I really thought life was about getting high and about partying and doing drugs.
Ricky started smuggling hundreds of pounds of marijuana across the Rio Grande River at the U.S.-Mexican border. And once again, the law caught up with him.
And they actually rammed the door down with a big ramming bar, about a 50, 60-pound ramming bar. What I hear is the door come off the wall, and it was skipping across the living room floor. Police everywhere. This is what I heard them say. Lay down on your face, your hands behind your head. If your hands leave your head leaves your shoulders. Now in 1987, busted with possession with intent to distribute 14 pounds of marijuana, an ounce of ecstasy. They're talking about giving me a life sentence and putting me in the largest state penitentiary in Louisiana, Angola, for the rest of my life.
Ricky did not want to spend the rest of his life in prison. Bail was set at $1 million, and his family couldn't come up with the money. So Ricky went to Plan B.
I ended up escaping. They fingerprinted me. I asked him if I could wash the ink off my hand because I knew the bathroom was right next to the front door. I waited till the jailer turned his head. And when he did that, I reached down, grabbed the flip-flops off my feet. I hit the door as hard as I could hit it.
Ricky ran as fast as he could straight into the woods and managed to elude the police. He stayed there for 56 days, eating anything he could find, including raw armadillos and frogs. When the filth, fire ants, and vile food finally got to Ricky, he went to his mother's house. His stepfather discovered him and turned him in. Facing life in prison, Ricky thought about what his choices had cost him.
I felt like committing suicide. I felt like it was the end of my life, that I had wasted my whole life over something stupid like drugs and alcohol. And now all of a sudden, isn't this amazing? I found out what really mattered was not the party, not drugs, not alcohol. What really mattered was my wife and my little baby. And then God started dealing with my heart that some kind of father you are. Look how you're taking care of your wife and your kid. And that's when I really started seeking answers. Ernest James, the man that I ran from, brought a Bible back to the jail cell. He said, Ricky Sinclair, you need Jesus Christ. He'll change your life. And he said that every answer that you need for every question you have is in this book. I grabbed the Bible. My heart was open for the Word of God. I started reading the Word of God. I could not get enough. The more I read it, the more I wanted more. And I read the Bible 18 hours a day. I read the Bible from Genesis to Revelations twice straight through. And as I read the Word of God, I realized that God had a vision. God had a plan. God had a purpose for life. He didn't make no junk. He didn't call me to be a junkie. He didn't call me to be a drug smuggler. He called me to be a mighty man of God. Something miraculous happened. God changed my heart. He changed my life. All of a sudden now, the desire to live for drugs and the desire to party and the desire to chase women and all the things of the world was taken out of me. And now I had a will and a desire to do of God's good pleasure.
And there was another miracle. Instead of a life sentence, Ricky served less than 4 years in prison. After prison, Ricky went on to become a productive citizen and one of the top 10 life insurance salesmen in the nation. He made wise investments that earned enough money for him to start and fund his own ministry.
So I took the money from my investments and started traveling as an evangelist, preaching all over the world. And then God started dealing with me and Jeannie's heart about planting a church.
What started with a prayer meeting in their home grew into a 900-plus member church in Baker, Louisiana.
God is just a remarkable God. He does things with people that you'd never think He could do, and He does things in ways that you wouldn't conceive. He's unbelievable.
When I gave my heart to the Lord, He came to live in me, and now I have life, and life has meaning, and life is exciting. Life is fun. So you just start to live when you give your life to the Lord.